Palestinian territory. It must also address Israel's legitimate security concern. We must collectively take steps towards establishing a political framework that outlines tangible, irreversible steps towards ending the occupation and establishing a two-state solution, Israel and Palestine, of which Gaza is an integral part, living side by side in peace and security on the basis of UN resolutions, previous agreements, and international law, with Jerusalem as capital of both states. The United Nations will continue to support all efforts towards that goal. I thank you.
I thank Mr. Venesland for his briefing. I now give the floor to Ms. Ellen Clark.
Madam President, Excellencies, distinguished members of the Security Council, it is an honour to speak to you today as a member of the Elders. Resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been a priority for our group since its founding by Nelson Mandela in 2007. The implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 2334 is acutely relevant to the current devastating phase of the conflict and to any chance of securing a fair and durable two-state solution in line with international law. But its failure so far also poses an existential question. Can the Security Council enforce its own resolutions? This is surely crucial to its credibility. The Elders unequivocally condemn the 7 October terrorist attacks and the holding of hostages by Hamas, which have caused deep trauma for the Israeli people. We also unequivocally condemn Israel's disproportionate military response, including its bombardment, siege, and blockade of Gaza. This amounts to collective punishment and is causing great suffering and trauma to the Palestinian people. The Security Council has a responsibility to chart a path towards a sustainable peace. A full, immediate, and complete ceasefire in Gaza is an indispensable step. It is deeply disturbing that Security Council Resolution 2735 calling for this remains unimplemented. It is clear that unless and until the root causes of the conflict are addressed, violence will persist and escalate. The conflict management approach pursued by powerful members of the international community has failed. A new approach is needed, grounded in international law, including the enforcement of this Council's resolutions. Council members who question the binding status of these resolutions or who use their veto to protect an ally or to oppose a geopolitical rival are eroding the Council's authority. They also undermine their own reputations and long-term interests. All member states are also bound to respect and comply with decisions of the International Court of Justice. This includes the provisional measures ordered to protect Palestinians in Gaza. The ICJ's recent advisory opinion, while non-binding, is an authoritative landmark ruling. It concludes that Israel's presence in the occupied Palestine territory is unlawful and must end as rapidly as possible. This obligation does not depend on achieving a successful outcome to peace negotiations. The General Assembly and Security Council should give effect to the advisory opinion by passing resolutions endorsing it and setting out what action is required by Israel, other member states and the UN to bring an end to the occupation. The Elders welcome the passing of the General Assembly resolution on this issue yesterday. How will the Security Council respond to the advisory opinion? Security Council Resolution 2334 reaffirmed the illegality of the settlements. Yet settlement expansion in the West Bank and East Jerusalem continues to accelerate while attention is focused on Gaza. More decisive member state action is needed. All member states must distinguish between Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory in all forms of cooperation, and cease any assistance to or trade with illegal settlements. Targeted measures should be applied against state and non-state entities and individuals responsible for maintaining and expanding illegal settlements. Steps have already been taken, including by the United States and the European Union, to sanction settlers for attacks on Palestinian civilians. But sanctions should also target financial flows to entities which are funding and constructing illegal settlements, and those in the government of Israel who are pursuing annexation. This Council must respect the process of criminal accountability